What if the person you trusted to guard your heart was the very one who shattered it in silence? Not with screams, not with slammed doors, but with lies so quiet they almost went unnoticed. This story will pierce through your emotions and may even make you question the meaning of trust itself. So sit back and let's begin. When Emma married Daniel, she believed she had found her forever. He wasn't a man of grand gestures, but of simple devotion, bringing her morning coffee, staying up late for quiet talks, holding her hand during storms of life. He made her feel safe, as though nothing could break them. But sometimes, love doesn't die in fire. It dies in silence, slowly, secretly. At first, the changes were small. Daniel no longer met her eyes when he came home late. His phone, once tossed freely on the table, was now locked and always placed face down. He started wearing cologne again, something he hadn't done in years. Emma tried to explain it away. Maybe work was weighing on him. Maybe he was just tired. She wanted to believe that, but her chest carried a knot that only grew tighter with every excuse she whispered to herself. One evening, while folding laundry, she found a crumpled receipt in his jacket pocket. Dinner for two, at a fancy restaurant, on the very night he swore he had worked overtime. Her hands trembled as she held the paper, her heart begging her not to believe what her eyes already knew. But the truth didn't come from Daniel. It came from his absence, from the nights he slipped away with half-hearted excuses, from the way his phone buzzed with messages he never let her see, from the way he flinched at her touch, as if her love had become a burden. Emma didn't need his confession. His silence was the loudest admission of all. One rainy night, she followed him. Her pulse raced as she trailed his car through dark, glistening streets. He stopped at a quiet cafe. Through the foggy window, she saw him laughing with another woman, his eyes glowing with warmth he hadn't shown her in months. That was the moment Emma's world cracked, not from the fact that he cheated, but because he had shared with someone else the intimacy, the secrets, the joy that once belonged only to her. She didn't storm inside. She didn't scream. She walked back into the rain, her clothes drenched, her soul heavier than ever. That night, she packed a small suitcase. No confrontation, no begging, no fight, only silence. When Daniel returned home, the apartment felt different. Too still, too empty. Her favorite scarf was gone from the rack, the honeymoon photo missing from the hallway. His heart pounded as he opened the closet. Empty spaces where her clothes once hung. And then, he saw it. On the kitchen table lay a neatly folded note. 4 words written in steady ink. I know the truth. Daniel's knees weakened. He dropped into a chair, his hands covering his face. He had expected shouting, maybe tears, maybe a storm of accusations. But this silence was unbearable. Across town, Emma sat in a small hotel room, her suitcase untouched by the door. She stared at the glowing city outside, each flicker of light a reminder of the life she had just walked away from. Her phone buzzed, a message from Daniel. Please, let me explain. She didn't open it. For years she had listened. She had trusted. She had believed. But now she understood. Love doesn't survive on explanations. It survives on trust. And when trust is broken, no words can mend it. More messages followed. Apologies. Desperate pleas. Promises that it wasn't what it looked like. But Emma never replied. Her silence wasn't cruel. It was her strength. She would no longer give him the chance to twist the truth. Days passed. Daniel showed up at her sister's house, hoping she was there. He left flowers on her car, letters at her workplace. But Emma never answered. Eventually, he stopped trying. The woman he betrayed was gone. All he had left were memories of what he destroyed with his own lies. Emma, meanwhile, began to heal. Slowly, quietly. She didn't rush into another relationship. She found comfort in her independence, in the peace of not second-guessing the man beside her. For the first time in years, she felt free. And so, Their love didn't end in fire or chaos. It ended exactly the way it unraveled. Quietly, painfully, with the suffocating silence of lies that were never spoken aloud. And in the end, it wasn't anger or betrayal that defined their story. It was silence, the kind that screams louder than words ever could. Weeks turned into months. Emma rebuilt her life in pieces. She found a small apartment near her sister's home, furnished with nothing more than second-hand furniture and quiet hope. For the first time in years, she woke up without the constant knot of doubt in her stomach. She could breathe again, but freedom came with loneliness. Some nights, she sat by the window, staring at the city lights, wondering how love, once so steady, could vanish without warning. She questioned herself. Was it my fault? Did I miss the signs too long? Did I give too much trust to someone who didn't deserve it? And then she would remind herself, no, love isn't destroyed by trust. It's destroyed by betrayal. And Daniel had made his choice. Daniel, on the other hand, was drowning. His apartment, once filled with warmth, now felt like a hollow shell. The empty closet, the missing photo, the silence of Emma's absence haunted him every night. He tried to keep up appearances at work, but his colleagues noticed. His tired eyes, his distracted mind, the way he stared blankly at his phone, waiting for a reply that never came. One evening, he drove past the cafe where Emma had seen him. The laughter with that other woman echoed in his mind, but now the chair across from him was empty. She hadn't stayed. She hadn't loved him. She had been a distraction, nothing more, and the cost of that distraction had been everything. Daniel began writing letters, dozens of them, pouring his guilt, his apologies, his desperate need to explain. He never sent them. They piled up in a drawer, each page a reminder of the love he had shattered with silent lies. Meanwhile, Emma slowly found strength in the life she was building. She joined a local art class, something she had always dreamed of but never pursued. She reconnected with old friends Daniel had quietly pushed away over the years. Piece by piece, she was learning who she was without him, but fate has a cruel way of circling back. One rainy afternoon, months after the night Emma walked away, she walked into a bookstore, and there he was, Daniel, standing in the aisle, holding a book he clearly wasn't reading, his eyes red and heavy. For a moment, the world froze. He whispered her name, Emma. Her heart raced, but she stood tall, calm, silent. Daniel stepped closer, his voice trembling. I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. Please, just give me a chance to explain. To make it right, Emma's eyes met his. There was no anger, no tears, only clarity. You had your chance, she said softly. And you chose lies over love. She turned, the sound of her footsteps echoing as she walked away. Daniel stood frozen, the book slipping from his hands, the truth hitting him harder than ever. Emma didn't look back. She didn't need to, because in that moment, she knew. Her silence had spoken louder than any argument ever could. And so, their paths crossed one last time. But Emma didn't return to the past. She walked forward, carrying with her not the weight of betrayal, but the strength of survival. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Every comment inspires us to bring you more powerful stories.